Hello Studio Ghibli. It seems like the selection of movies for your fest this year is pretty small. That means my options are limited, and I think I need something lighthearted as I continue my anime exploration, so I chose The Secret World of Arrietty. Note that while this one has a British dub, I'm sticking with the American dub since that was the English version shown in theaters. With that said, let's find out if the film of the borrowers is as big as their hearts or as small as their sizes. Before starting the collection expedition, I must serve up a spoiler alert so that you don't get scooped up on the way. Now, clip your hair tight, because the night won't be young forever, so I'll begin pronto. Hey, I'm Owen the Fictionboy, and here's my review on The Secret World of Arrietty. Our story starts with Sho informing us that he's spending a week of his summer in Kogane, a city in the west of Japan, as that is where his mother lived when he was a kid. Maternal great-aunt Sadako and Hara the housemaid are the people he'll be staying with. Yet after seeing the cat Nia attacking a crow, he got a glimpse of a tiny girl who hid among the plants to avoid being discovered. That tiny girl's name is Arrietty, who rushed back to her parents, Mother Homily and Father Pod, as she gave leaves to the former as an early birthday gift, and the latter takes her to her first borrowing mission, but not before Homily being concerned about the humans finding her and noticing that Arrietty's room looked more forest-like. Her species is known as the Borrowers because they are tiny people who live underneath the humans and they only take what they need, like a sugar cube that Arrietty and Pod successfully got until Arrietty also went for a tissue and was at risk of Sho seeing her in his bedroom. When Arrietty and Pod returned home, the girl admitted Sho may have seen her earlier, but Pod was glad she didn't act so worried. And even if it seemed they retrieved nothing, Arrietty did show that she managed to get a pin. The next day, Sho put the sugar cube on a plate beside the air vent for Arrietty, but Pod, explaining that their existence must be kept a secret, stated not to take it. However, after doing some laundry, Arrietty shooed some ants that were eating the sugar cube, and she saw a note was left on the plate, so while her parents were busy, she snuck to meet the human boy. At first, Arrietty told Sho to leave her and her family alone, yet they had a conversation, only for a crow to interrupt it. And when she came back home, Pod intercepted her, and he and Homily started getting prepared, because they had to leave due to being detected. Sho then hears from Sadako that his mother and grandfather knew there were borrowers in their house back then, hence why they made a dollhouse for them, although the tiny creatures haven't been seen again since that day. Pod came back from another borrowing mission, yet he was wounded, with Spiller, a fellow borrower, aiding him. Even though Sho tried to help Arrietty and her family out with their living space by replacing their old kitchen with the one from the dollhouse, the transition frightened the parents, making them more eager to leave, and like with their borrowing missions, they only had to pack the necessary stuff. Arrietty had to bid Sho adieu, yet before leaving, Sho theorized on how the borrowers may soon become extinct, yet that hurt Arrietty's feelings. After apologizing, Sho then told her he has an operation happening soon because of his heart condition he had since birth, fearing the operation may fail, confessing that everything living will eventually die. Unfortunately, the borrowers didn't leave the house soon enough, since Hara noticed the change in floorboards, and she saw Homily, instantly picked her up and placed her in a jar, which she put in the kitchen, just in time. The housemaid then called pest control, requesting that the borrowers needed to be smoked out and caught alive, and after Arrietty noticed her mother's disappearance, Hara locked Sho in his room to make sure he wouldn't stop her. Luckily, that didn't stop Arrietty from helping Sho escape so they could rescue Homily. To pull it off, Sho had to distract Hara so Arrietty could sneak into the kitchen and free Hamali. Once that was done, Sho removed the traces of the borrower's existence by undoing his switcheroo, and when the pest control finally arrived, Hara was embarrassed to see she didn't have proof anymore, so she threw a fit, desperately pleading to the pest control that she's not crazy. During the borrowers' trip to their new home, they stopped for dinner. Nia saw Arrietty again, and as the human boy and borrower girl gave their real goodbyes, Sho gave Arrietty a sugar cube for their trip, whereas Arrietty gave Sho her hair clip, a clothespin, as something to remember her by. Arrietty and her family, as well as Spiller, officially left the house via a teapot in the river, and in the Disney version, which I'll remind you is the dub I watched, Sho narrates one last time about never having seen Arrietty again, and he returned to the house 1 year later, making us believe the operation was a success, yet he heard rumors about objects from his neighboring homes have been disappearing, meaning there may be other borrowers in his area. This was a great movie. The animation was neatly crafted, the voice cast was solid, Sho and Arrietty have a nice bond as friends, Arrietty's relationship with her parents is just as good, and I like the concept of tiny people living underneath the humans who take resources for survival. In terms of negatives, I think we could have benefited from Sadako telling Sho, and us, more about his mother's experience with the borrowers, but that's a bit on the nitpicky side. What I won't consider nitpicky, though, are two major things. One is that Hara is probably the worst Ghibli villain I've seen so far. Keywords, so far, as all she does is say she doesn't believe in the borrowers only to capture one and want them removed from the house later. It doesn't matter if she's a twist villain. What matters is if she's a good villain, as she is not. My other main problem is that while I do understand not every movie needs a purely happy ending, part of me wanted to see the humans and borrowers be friends instead of the latter thinking everyone in the former is bad, especially since Sho was friendly and there's a high chance his mother was the same. The Secret World of Arrietty was a splendid tale for anime fans who want something family-friendly, even if there are one or two other lighthearted Ghibli movies I personally consider to be better, so I'll give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Watching one movie for Ghibli Fest this year is better than seeing none, and I see the choice I made wasn't necessarily a bad one, making me more eager than ever before to see the entire library from the anime movie company as soon as I can. Still need more fiction? Then please give this video a like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications. Also comment below and follow me on Instagram for teasers and thumbnail previews of videos to come in the future. Thanks for watching, see you again soon, and good night-o!